Jerry Falwell Jr., who you might know as the president of Liberty University, has been tapped by President Trump to help strip away some of the new protections that have been put into place to protect students from basically being defrauded out of their student loan money. Those protections, by the way, were put into effect over the past couple of years, and only recently were some of them announced, this week in fact, but don't get too used to them because they might not stay long. Mr. Falwell had this to say about his basically promotion to the head of a higher education task force. He said he sees it as a response to what he called overreaching regulation and micromanagement by the Department of Education in areas like accreditation and policies that affect colleges' student recruiting behavior, like the new, quote, borrower defense to repayment regulations. Those rules codify how borrowers who are defrauded by predatory colleges can obtain relief from the federal government.
Okay. Context for that.
Okay.
Okay. So, first of all, we'll get to the accreditation part of all of this because think about it for a second. Donald Trump, with his fake university that was not accredited, defrauded so many students that he had to pay a $25 million settlement. Accreditation standards are important. Having a crazy person like Falwell decide whether or not accreditation standards are too high is a dangerous, dangerous thing to think about. But let's just focus a little bit on this whole recruiting thing. So, for-profit colleges just destroyed the lives of a lot of students. They defrauded a lot of students, and one of the ways that they did it is they went ahead and told students, hey, you know what, during their recruiting techniques or recruiting meetings with these students, hey, you know what, if you go to our institution, yeah, it's expensive. Yeah, you got to take out a lot of loans, and you're going to go into debt. But here's the thing. If you look at the numbers, 95% of our students graduate to become gainfully employed. So just to give you a specific example, if it is a for-profit college, a trade school that focuses primarily on teaching you to be a sous chef, right? They'll tell these students, you enter the program, yeah, you take out these loans, but once you graduate, you're going to be working as a sous chef, or you're going to be working in the food industry. And then it turns out that they manipulated the numbers because they included people who worked at places like McDonald's, for instance, as individuals who were gainfully employed, but they were not gainfully employed. In fact, a lot of these students, because they have a low-paying minimum wage job, can't pay back their student loans. And so a lot of them would default on those loans. And what would happen? A lot of taxpayers would have to foot the bill, or the interest rates would increase, or the fees associated with those loans would increase. It would be a nightmare for these students. And so the Obama administration came in and said, no, we can't have this. Okay, we need to prove that these schools are helping these students become gainfully employed in order for them to qualify for federal loans, because a lot of these for-profit colleges would rely on federal loans. In fact, 95 to 99% of their revenue would come from federal taxpayers, okay? So it was screwing over taxpayers, screwing over these students who can't get rid of these loans in bankruptcy. This is the kind of stuff that this guy, Falwell, wants to get rid of, these regulations to protect these students. So I had to give you that context. It was important.
I agreed with almost all of what you said. I don't understand why you don't think McDonald's should be included as part of the restaurant industry. I think it's a fine restaurant, a fine establishment. I've enjoyed eating there many times.
It's part of the, and by the way, that's not me putting down anyone who works at McDonald's, of course, but you don't need a college education to work at McDonald's. The whole point is they lied to students to make it seem as though, hey, look at all these people who graduate and they're gainfully employed. That was not the case.
That's totally true. I don't think you can actually even work as a sous chef at McDonald's, unfortunately. Maybe in the future. They're always adding new things. They've got kale now, people. Anyway, but yeah, so Anna gave great general context to that. These particular rules came about as a result of the sorts of collapses you were talking about there, and basically people being left in the lurch without their education or their money. One of them was Corinthian colleges, which fell apart. A bunch of students, as a result of that, needed forgiveness of loans and things of that sort. Let's quickly go through a couple of these rules to give you an idea of how they're protecting students. And it might seem like, well, you know, they took a gamble, they went to a bad school, they shouldn't have. But when you see the rules, it's really not unreasonable, the protections that were put in place. The rules allow loan forgiveness to be granted to basically to large groups. So as opposed to relief being granted on a one-by-one basis. Similarly, it would forbid institutions from barring students from pursuing class action lawsuits. So again, rather than having to go one by one, you can group up and use that power to press your case.
Further context into that. So let's say that there is now a defunct for-profit college, and they found out, the federal government finds out, the regulators find out, okay, they defrauded students so badly, and they can't, because of our regulations, they're not going to get the federal funding that they run on, and so they're going to shut down. That happened with a lot of for-profit colleges, and so when the for-profit college shuts down, what happens to the students who got an education there, right? Yeah. Their degrees are worth nothing, right? And they've been defrauded. It's been proven by the regulators. And so why should these students have to repay all of this student loan debt for a diploma that means absolutely nothing, or a degree that means nothing, and in some cases they don't even get to finish that degree, right? So that's the reason why that regulation, or not that regulation, but that rule for students to protect them essentially exists.
Yeah, and to the extent that you don't get enough value out of your degree, you especially don't if the college doesn't exist before you finish it. And especially if it's not an accredited college, your credits don't transfer. You can't easily transfer from one to another. If we bring up this last graphic, I just want to show this last part. Restores Pell Grant eligibility to students at colleges that have closed. So if you put a bunch of money into a college, you don't get to finish it, you might have already burned through all of your Pell Grant eligibility. You can't then transfer to another college. This would allow them to do that. According to Jerry Falwell Jr., the goal that he will have is to pare back some of these regulations, give the agencies more leeway in governing their affairs rather than government from the top telling them what needs to happen. And he's got notebooks full of issues. And he also runs, again, Liberty University, this sort of college that could eventually have students that need this sort of relief. Now, I looked into it. It, by some miracle, does have accreditation at the regional level for most of its programs, but God only knows what could happen after a couple of years of him and Betsy DeVos reaming these regulations. Yeah,
accreditation is important. The standards should be high. People should be paying for first of all, I don't think people should have to pay for education, especially if it comes down to a public school. But yeah, you want the standards to be strict because you want accredited institutions to teach you fact-based information. A lot of the schools that don't get accredited don't meet the standards necessary to educate students properly. So he wants to do away with some of those regulations, and that is disastrous. And obviously, people like him have a vested interest in making the standards easier. So look, people like him think of college education as big business. They don't care about the quality of the education taught. They care about indoctrinating students with religious-based education. But I worry about this because with Betsy DeVos, you have this move toward privatizing education. You privatize it, you can teach whatever you want, including religion. And then you have this guy who now has Donald Trump's ear and could have a huge impact in deregulating the way that our colleges work and, you know, essentially getting rid of protections for students. And right now, students don't have a lot of protections to begin with.
We are the watchers on the wall. We are the sword in the darkness. Come join us. tytnetwork.com/join.